Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited for today's video because I am going to be reading romance novels for a week. Now, although this may sound like a dream for a romance lover like myself, I've lately been in a bit of a rut when it comes to reading romance novels. Like I think I mentioned in a previous video, I've been obsessed with fantasy lately, and that's just like all I want to consume. So I'm really challenging myself today in this video. So I am currently reading In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. I'm actually really enjoying this so far. It's not at all what I was expecting, but I think it's everything that I'm going to need. So we're already starting off pretty much with the bang, but I feel like that's not saying much because I'm very, very early into this book. I think I'm on chapter 6, so page 50, literally. So I haven't even made a dent in this, but what I've read so far, I am enjoying. But I do have a couple other romance books that I'm interested in reading that are currently in my to be read, like my physical to be read. So I'm gonna share those with you. All right, so of the books that I physically have, the first one is Normal People. This is by Sally Rooney. I've seen everybody talk about this on TikTok and on Pinterest. Everybody's saying like, oh, this is such a good book. But I've also seen people say that they didn't like it. So I've kind of put off reading it because one, I haven't been in a romance mood, but two, there's been so many mixed reviews that it made me like hesitant to start reading it. So I don't really know if we're gonna get to this one in this video, but it is an option. Next I have All He'll Ever Be. This is by Willow Winters. This is the full, what's the name of the series? Okay, this is the full Merciless series. So look how big this book is. Like, that's a big boy. Like, that's about the size of my Bible. So yeah, this is like multiple books in one. So again, also I think this is, if I remember correctly, because I think I've read part of the series, but it's been so many years. I think this is like a mafia romance. And I don't know if I'm feeling mafia romance vibes. Like that mafia romance is such a, it's an acquired taste. I feel like you have to really be in the mood for that. And I don't know, I think I want something that's gonna like uplift my spirits and not like freak me out. I don't know. Well, not freak me out. I don't know. I don't know. I have this. So this is also an option. Okay, and then for the last two that I physically have, The 7-Year Slip and Yours Truly. I've already spoken about these numerous times. These books I'm most likely going to get into in this video because I just feel like I've just heard nothing but good things about them. So I'm just very inclined to see why everybody's raving about them so much. But at the same time, I've also had an interest in reading Magnolia Parks. Controversial, I know, because everybody is saying like it's just so toxic, but Sarah Caroli swears that she loves the book so much. Like I've just seen the love and excitement that she has for the series, and I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to read it. Even though I know it's a bunch of drama and nonsense, I'm kind of here for the drama and nonsense. Like I'm not gonna lie, like when I read One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose, for example, like that literally was the epitome of drama and nonsense because the whole book was literally just about these women just being catty and petty, but I loved it. So if it's anything like that, I feel like I may enjoy it. So I kind of want to give it a try. Who am I kidding? The real reason that I want to go pick up Magnolia Parks is because I haven't been in a Barnes & Noble in a while and I'm just having withdrawals. So that's what we're gonna go do today. So we're back in the car. We've acquired the goods, but I can't lie, I'm a little disappointed. I was nervous that this would happen and my fears came true. I don't like this new cover. Like, I prefer the covers that came out previously. Like, I just thought the artwork was so interesting, but like at the same time I still wanted to read the book, so I got it. But I don't know, like this just isn't, it's not giving the same vibes. I don't know, but we'll see how I like this. Like I said, I'm still in the middle of reading whatever the heck the name of the book is that I'm reading right now. That's not good. But I'm still in the middle of that. I'm curious about maybe starting this one next, because I feel like this is gonna pull a lot of emotions out of me, and then I follow that up with something like nice and sweet. I think that's gonna be the plan. Anyway though, I was in such a, I don't know, like I just wanted to get this book so bad that I decided to rush before I have to go pick up my sister from school, and she's gonna be out in like a few minutes and I'm like 20 minutes away from her, so I need to hurry up and rush and get there. All right, so the last time we talked, I'm pretty sure I told you guys that I'm currently reading In the Likely Event, and I want to give you guys some updates. I am, let's see, I'm 106 pages into the book so far, and I don't really know how I feel about it. Like, I think the biggest issue that I'm having with it is that I'm confused. So the book basically like jumps back and forth between timelines. So the first timeline is 2011, where basically the main characters get into the plane crash. And then the other timeline is the present. So that's 2021, where the main characters are stationed in Afghanistan. That's a whole other thing. So like going back and forth in the timeline, that I can handle, like that's not difficult. But I think what makes it more confusing is the fact that we're also jumping back and forth between the perspectives of the characters. So we're jumping between Nathaniel and Izzy, and then we're also jumping back and forth between 2011 and 2021. So sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, wait, whose perspective am I reading right now? What year is this? So that can be a little confusing sometimes, but I don't know if it's also because like I'm just like not that interested. So then maybe like that's why I'm kind of like losing track of where we are and what's going on. And I think like a portion of why I'm not interested is because the book kind of like flip-flops. So like basically when we're coming into the book, I'm gonna try my best to explain this without like spoiling anything. Basically, when we're entering the book, it's in the middle of the two main characters' dispute, if that makes sense. So it's like their first time seeing each other in years, and like they obviously have this history that's like keeping them from being with each other presently, but it just like doesn't make sense. If it like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like as a reader trying to understand what's going on between these characters, it's hard to understand because a lot of what the characters are doing like don't make sense in my opinion. So like, for example, like the main character, like she is like harboring onto some resentments for the main guy character because of something that he's done in the past. And like there's this obvious, like she obviously still loves him, but like she's like angry with him at the same time. And so like as somebody who's angry with somebody who's done something messed up with it, to them, like she's not really behaving the way that somebody who's upset with somebody would behave, if that makes sense. I get what the author's trying to do. Like it's trying to be like an enemies to lovers, but like they still have feelings for one another, but they're not like ready to share that with one another because there's like something going on, but like there's like previous history, but there's not enough like history revealed to show why we should care about these people, one, and why these people should be together, if that makes sense. So basically like how it's coming off so far is like it's a love at first sight kind of thing, but I'm not really experiencing any of the like deeper feelings towards one another that would make their connection so strong to where when they see each other in person after years, they feel as strongly as they do. Yeah, so that's like the first thing that kind of like I'm struggling with, but that also is something that could be, fixed as I go on. So I'll like update you guys if that like gets better. But the second thing is because, or this book takes place in Afghanistan, because apparently like we're in the middle of a war. And so the author is using like a lot of different places and provinces and like, I guess like political knowledge that is almost assumed that the reader would know, And so like I don't know these things going in. So like she's referencing these different places, and like these different places have great significance. But for me as the reader, it wasn't really explained why these places have such great significance and why they relate to one another and have a certain importance in relation to one another. So like as I'm reading it, I'm kind of like, okay, like I'm vibing, like, okay, I kind of get where you're going, what you're saying, but like really it's confusing because I don't really have an understanding of what's going on and why they're even in this area to begin with. So like there's like a subplot that's going on within the plot that's going on within the plot, and I just feel like it's not, as of 100 pages in, it's not explained enough for me as the reader to, one, care, and two, understand in order so that I can care. That's all I have to say. That's basically how I'm feeling about it so far. I am feeling the urge to just like give up, but I refuse. Somebody made a TikTok about it for a reason, so I'm just gonna take their word for it and trust the process. Okay, we need to talk about this book. So I don't know if I'm just like a really harsh grader when it comes to romance, but like I'm not feeling this. I'm a little more than halfway through the book and I still have not developed any kind of connection to the characters. Like I have no reason to like the main character. I have no reason to like Izzy. I have no reason to like Nathaniel. Again, I have no reason to want them to be together other than the fact that they obviously want to be together and that the plot of the book is surrounded by them being together. Like this is one of those books or one of those stories where there's distance. It's like, I don't know like the exact terms. I'm not like a seasoned book girly, but it's I don't know. Basically, he's off at war. She's in the States. They can't be together. They refuse to be together because he doesn't want him waiting for her. And she's like, I don't know. I just think it's stupid. Like, I don't like it. I thought this was going to be like enemies to lovers. It's not. Like, we're getting to, I'm sorry, I'm low-key spoiling this. I'm so sorry, but I'm low-key spoiling this. I'm trying not to give you guys too much detail. There's no like emotional bond between the characters. Like, there's just no emotional bond. Like, I'm at the part where okay, so basically like the book goes back and forth in time, like I've mentioned before. So I'm at like one of the times where they reunited, and each time that they reunite, there's no like, we're not seeing any emotional bond formed between the characters. It's literally just sex. Like it's literally just them having sex, and I don't like that in books. Like that is one of my pet peeves when it comes to romance novels. Like I want to feel the love that these characters have for one another, and like I just feel like the book is describing that love, but it's not showing us why they love one another. It's not showing that love in action, if that makes sense. So like, for example, like while the main guy Nathan is off fighting in the war, like they're writing letters back and forth to one another, but we've only seen a glimpse of one of those letters, and it wasn't anything that like would solidify the bond that the author is trying to portray that these characters have. Like, why do they have this bond? Where is this bond coming from? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, that's just it seems so unrealistic. It just seems so unrealistic. and I'm not vibing with it, and I'm like forcing myself to get through it. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's not terrible. It's not like the writing is completely bad or like it's just like a tough read, but it's just, there's really no plot. I think that's what it is. Like, I just feel like the plot is everywhere. There's so many like mini plots going on in between this overall story. And like, I think the overall story is this couple getting together, I think, but the way that this is like being, like the way that it's written, it just doesn't feel cohesive. It just doesn't feel cohesive. And I'm not feeling it. So I'm really, I only have like this much left of the book to go. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to keep reading this or do I want to DNF it and move on to Magnolia Parks, because I'm actually really excited to read Magnolia Parks. I think I'm gonna push forward a little bit longer. I'm gonna see where it goes, but as of right now, I'm not feeling it, babes. I'm not feeling it. Good morning, friends. I have something really important that I need to share with you all. If I'm anything, I am honest, and I always want to be truthful with you guys. And right now I'm definitely feeling called to be honest with you guys about this. So without prolonging it anymore, without dragging this out, I'm just gonna come out with it. I started reading Magnolia Parks without you guys. Don't be mad at me, don't hate me, please. Please. And also, like, I'm sorry if you thought like I was gonna say something serious. It's me, of course I'm not gonna say anything serious. But I did start reading Magnolia Parks last night. I just was so excited. I couldn't keep myself from reading it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the whole time that I was reading, I can't even remember the name of this book. Like, that's how you know. The whole time I was reading this, I was just like, okay, let me hurry up and finish this so I can start reading this. Like, so I'm literally I've only gotten through 3 chapters of it. I'm currently on chapter 4, and I'm already in love with BJ, and I'm already in love with Magnolia. I know that this book is toxic. I know that I am literally set up for failure here, but I'm down regardless. Like, I am here for the ride. Here's the biggest thing. Why did nobody tell me that Magnolia is black? Well, she's mixed race, but how did I not know this? Like, that's something, like, as a black woman, when I'm reading a book, like, it's very hard for me to connect with the characters sometimes because they don't look like me. So like when I'm reading about a character who has like blonde hair, blue eyes, it's hard for me to put myself in her shoes. Does anybody else do that when they're reading? Like, they put themselves in the shoes of the main character? I don't know. But like, I do that in my romance novels. Like, so it's, knowing that she's a black girl, like, that just made the whole reading experience 10 times better for me, because I'm just like, oh dang, like, if he's brushing her hair, it's hair that's similar to mine. I don't know, I'm weird, but that just excited me because you hardly ever see that unless it's a book that's written by a black author. So anyway, love that. 3 chapters in so far. I am definitely more engaged in this than I was in this. And while we're on the topic, I do want to give my final thoughts. I already shared with you guys all of yesterday, for the most part, my thoughts on this book. So I'm not going to go into that much detail moving forward, but I do want to give you guys a rating, and I do want to give you guys my final thoughts, having now finished it. So going through it was definitely a journey. Like I told you, a lot of it, well, I would say a big chunk of the beginning portion for me reading was confusing because it was hard to figure out the timeline. It was hard to figure out which character's point of view I was reading in. And then as the book progressed, the lack of, I guess, like it's hard for me to say that these characters didn't have an emotional bond, because they did. Like, a lot of what they talked about to one another and in the book was their love for one another and the just great amount of care that they have for one another. But for me as a reader, well, I can only really speak for myself and my personal preferences when it comes to romance novels. Like, this is what makes a great romance novel to me. The build. If not anything else, y'all better get the build down. Like maybe I'm nosy and I'm greedy and I'm weird, but I want to know every single interaction. I want to know every single joke. I want to know every single, like, everything that's happened between these two characters so we can see them fall in love. So like with this book, the biggest frustration that I had was that it was supposed to be a love at first sight kind of vibe. But because of that, like, not to say that that's not real, and not to say that there aren't people out there who don't have love at first sight, but for me, I personally don't believe in that. You can't love somebody if you don't know them. Like, you can't, in my opinion. Yeah, so like for me, it was very hard to believe that the characters had this great love, especially because they didn't really spend that much time together throughout the whole span of the book. So they've known each other for 10 plus years, and they've known each other for 10 plus years and have spent less than 30 days together. I think that right there says everything that needs to be said. So it's like, how are y'all in love like this? Like, how? You know, so it was very hard for me to like believe that these people actually loved one another. And then, not to mention, when they did finally have moments together where we can see why they have such a strong bond or why they still care about each other years later, all they're doing is making love. And for me, I hate that. That is my personal pet peeve when I'm reading a romance novel. Like, it's my biggest pet peeve in a book, or specifically a romance novel, when there's supposed to be this great connection between the couple, but the biggest thing that they have between one another is that physical connection. Like, there's no emotional bond. We don't see the character, like, it's just sex. Hate that. So that's kind of the vibes that I was getting from this. When it comes down to the plot and the overall storyline, it was kind of all over the place as I was reading it, but by the end of the book, it all pieced itself together nicely, and I really love that. So because of that, I won't lie, like towards the end, I started to have like a little bit of like, aw, feelings, but if I'm being real, there was more eye rolling than there were ahs. So, but like, because the author did such a great job piecing everything together and tying back little bits and pieces that were mentioned throughout the book, I decided to give the overall rating a 3 out of 5 stars. I was gonna give it a 2. Not saying the book is bad, just my personal preference and what I personally like in a romance novel, this just did not do it for me. But yes, those are my final thoughts on In the Likely Event. Like I said, it's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. Obviously, a lot of people love it. Like, I looked on Goodreads, like, people enjoyed it. You know, the TikTok, I was looking at the comments, people enjoyed this book. They said they loved the book. I just don't think it was for me. So I definitely recommend that you guys read it. Like, if you're interested in it, give it a read. Like, what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back into Magnolia Parks. Like, this is what I want to do the majority of the day. But I'm not gonna lie, I was so excited last night to finish this book, to get to this book, that I ended up pulling a all-nighter. So I have yet to go to sleep. So I'm going to try to get some rest and then come back and read this. So I'll check with y'all then. Wow, I look absolutely insane. Let's ignore it. It's dangerous how much I love this book. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I haven't, like, I'm literally fighting tears right now because this book is so romantic. Like, I'm literally on page 146. Like, I'm not even halfway through this thing. Like, I'm already absolutely tore up from the freaking floor up. Like, I'm done. BJ and Magnolia? If you haven't read this book, just read this book. And like, just read the book. But the thing is like, the romance, like the emotion, like the connection that they have is just so grand. It's like so deep. You can feel it like come off the pages. It's like, unreal. It's like it's unlike anything I've ever read in a romance book before, because it's like the way that it's written, not only are we like, you know, reading the book as one does, but it's almost like we get like these random thoughts that will pop into, you know, the character's mind. So like, you know, the book is written in, you know, POV, so we go from BJ to Magnolia. It's like, I love her writing. I'm obsessed. Like, I literally, like, I'm not even done with the first book and I would want to go get the rest of the series, because it's just like, I'm obsessed. Like the way that she like gets you to care about all these characters, the way that like, this is already a 5-star. Let me not say that because I haven't finished it, but like already it's a 5-star. It literally has me frazzled, like, because I'm so obsessed and I have so many thoughts that are running through my head and I can't, it's a lot. I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading though, because at this point I can't stop. And like low-key, I'm mad I started reading this because I need to clean. I'm supposed to be deep cleaning right now. Oh, I literally almost forgot. I wanted to share this annotation with you. This is what I was freaking out over, because as I'm reading this, I'm just thinking about like, dang, like what if a man in real life looked at me and like felt this way, or like thought this about me, like as he oh, just listen, hold on. Okay, we've done this since we were in school. After every fight, stare at each other. Hold on, I'm gonna try that again. We've done this after every fight, We've done this since we were in school. After every fight, stare at each other in the eyes for 10 seconds or something. I don't know why. I think she saw it in Oprah. It works though, especially with her. I find it pretty hard to stay SHITTY at her for very long anyway, but she can hold a grudge like you wouldn't believe. But when we do this, I watch it all melt off her. And then here's the part. Here is the part. And here I have her in my car, stuck in endless traffic, and I get to just stare at her unapologetically for 15 seconds. Like, I get to stare at her for 15 seconds. Anyway, I wish I would like feel giddy like this about a man, like only in books. My thought process is the same almost every time. 1, 2, okay. I don't like to cuss, but I'm reading the book, okay? Holy f, she's beautiful. That's my first thought every time we do this. She's so beautiful. I can't believe she loves me. I can't believe she loves me. Like, if you think about it, it's insecure. Like, it's definitely an insecure way of thinking. Like, I can't believe this person. Like, no, like you should believe that you're deserving of love. But if a man looked at me and was like, I can't believe she loves me. If a man looked at me and is just like, oh my God, like I'm just like melting into you because I think you're so beautiful and you're just like the most beautiful woman in the world to me, I will freaking die, dude. Anyway, this is why I love this book. Like, this is just a little piece. But like every time BJ and Magnolia are in a room together, it's just like fireworks. Like fireworks are just jumping off the page. I low-key think I just want to like make a video of me just reading this series because it's so good. Like, I just feel like I have to. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, but let me get back to reading. This is so sad. like it genuinely makes me want to cry. Like, this is so sad. Look, guys. Okay, so they just ended their staring contest and he said 15, like they reached 15 seconds. She had me at 1. The drama. Y'all, I love this book. I love this book. It is currently midnight. I have to be up at 6 in the morning. And what am I doing? Reading this book. this is off topic, but now that I'm kind of used to the cover now, like I think it's actually kind of cute and it's kind of a vibe, and I really like the color of this pink on the spine. Like literally this is what's making the book like cute to me, and then it matches like her dress on the front. Like that's so cute. Anyway, doesn't matter. I love this book. Like honestly, Jessa Hastings' writing is incredible. It's unlike anything I've read before. I'm in love with it. Like it's romantic. Her writing is romantic. Like that is the best way to put it. Like pause. I forgot to tell you guys. So I've been a reader ever since I was a kid. I'm pretty sure I've shared that with you all. Like Miss Girl always had a book. Like I'm at the dinner table with the book. Like we're going out to restaurants, we're going out to the movies, and homegirl has a book, right? And like I never thought to annotate my books, and I've seen so many booktubers like annotating their books. And like for me, what I think of annotating, I think about it in like the educational sense. You know, like I never thought about like annotating a book to just like share how I'm feeling, or like talk about like the moments, or just like, I don't know, like gush over the book. And this book is so romantic. Like it's so perfect to annotate and just like gush over. And so I decided to start annotating for the first time in this book. And yeah, I'm loving it. Like I literally, it has brought me to like a different like level of reading. Like I'm on a different level of like book girling now. Like I don't know, but like I'm literally just like giggling. Like this book literally has me giggling, and I'm cheesing, and I'm smiling, and I'm laughing, and it's just so cute. And like honestly, annotating and like writing down my little comments and like underlining, and you know, just it makes me feel like a kid again. Like I literally feel like a kid again. Like it has brought me back to like when I was a kid and I'm in my room and I'm giggling over these books, and it's like my escape. Like it literally has done that for me. And so I don't know if it's the annotating itself, or if it's just this book and I'm just so obsessed with the characters and just the way that it's written, and it's just so beautiful, so it's so easy to annotate. Like I don't know, but the experience I'm having with this is like, it's phenomenal. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. Like they are so toxic. And like, if you guys have read the After series, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to like toxic, but like generally it's the man being toxic. Like the woman is typically like normal and acts like she has some sense, you know? And she's like putting up with the guy's like ridiculous behavior. But in this book, they're both equally awful. Like they're both equally just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like both of them, you know, like I wish I could, like as much as I love Magnolia, and like honestly, like it sucks that BJ is who he is, but Magnolia, I'm looking at her like, girl, I'm gonna go back to reading, even though I should be sleeping. But if I'm gonna be real, this is higher priority right now. It's just higher priority. I just finished. There are no words. Like I'm absolutely heartbroken, like gut wrenched. Like I need time to process this. Like I genuinely need time to process this, because I literally don't even know what to say. Like I'm genuinely just like I'm at a loss for words. I'm gonna say by far the best book I've ever read, just for the way that I was able to feel for these characters, and I'm so emotionally invested myself, like regardless of the themes and what's going on and how toxic and disgusting it is. Like 6 stars. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. I generally don't want to think about this for a while because I need to recover. Like, I need to heal from this. Like, this messed me up. Not gonna lie to you.